Hello, and welcome to day 1 of the Master Intermittent Fasting course. I'm so glad you're here and you've committed to this course where we are going to determine the best way to make fasting work for you. If you don't know me yet, my name is Megan. I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist with a private practice in Orlando, Florida. At Nutrition Awareness, we see clients one-on-one, in person, or virtually to help them maximize their full potential with nutrition. Our methods are backed by science, and we do not use a one-size-fits-all approach. For example, we're not going to recommend that every single client does Whole30 or does paleo. In that same breath, we're not going to recommend that every single person does intermittent fasting either. So keep that in mind throughout this course, that all of these recommendations are general and not necessarily personal to you. I'm going to do my best to personalize things as we go through this, but just keep that in mind that you are an individual. We found from working with hundreds of clients that we all have individual needs when it comes to nutrition, and what works for one person isn't going to work for everybody. What we do is to help our clients crack their own personal code. Now let's get back to the course. In the quick guide to intermittent fasting that you already received in your email, we briefly covered the main types of fast and listed the possible benefits of fasting, including decreased risk of chronic diseases such as diabetes and cardiovascular disease, improved blood sugars, weight loss, improved endurance, more restful sleep, appetite regulation, increased lean muscle mass, improved gut microbiome, better digestion, with some evidence to support improvements in IBS-related symptoms as well. So for any type of lifestyle change, it's extremely important that you're tuned in to the why behind it. What is your why? Why did you buy this course? Why are you curious about intermittent fasting, or why do you want to try it? What are the top 3 things that you would love to get out of intermittent fasting? Think about it. What do you want to accomplish? Give that thought a few seconds. Get specific. I want you to be in tune with why you bought this course in the first place so we can make sure that you're getting what you want out of it. Take out some pen and paper, write a note on your phone, and write your top 3 goals. Now that your goals are clear, let's get back into the meat of the course. Intermittent fasting is a pattern of eating where you change when you eat, not necessarily what you eat. You can always improve your diet, always. But if you're struggling with that, are you at least willing to change the times that you're eating or the window of time when you are eating? Intermittent fasting is not a fad diet. It can be done with any type of eating pattern. Whether you were vegan or carnivore, you can also be doing intermittent fasting. One of the greatest things about fasting is that the only counting involved is the number of hours that you are eating, or numbers of hours that you are not eating. Some people choose to adhere to a specific time where they are done eating every day, like 7 p.m. is your cutoff time every night. Now, for people with a very steady schedule, that works wonderfully. But if you don't have a steady schedule and it differs day to day, you can be flexible with your starting time as long as you commit to a number of hours that you want to be fasting. I always recommend you start day 1 with a 12-hour fast, and that's what we're going to do here today. A common question or complaint I often hear about fasting is, I tried fasting for 16 hours and I hated it. There's a really popular fast called the 16-8 fast that a lot of influencers kind of tout the benefits of. And so oftentimes people try it and find it discouraging when they can't maintain it. My recommendation is to ease into intermittent fasting, and that's why we're only starting with a 12-hour fast. From there, we're going to continue increasing and see how that goes. Another common objection that I hear is, I can't go for more than 4 hours without eating, let alone 14 hours. No worries if that's your thought. That was me too. I thought the exact same thing, and that's why it took me so long to try intermittent fasting, despite all of the research that I kept seeing. I briefly covered several types of fasting in that quick guide, but we are going to focus on the type that I believe can be most sustainable, also known as time-restricted eating. Put very simply, it's just paying attention to the amount of hours that you are not eating within a 24-hour cycle. So let's say you had a snack after dinner or finished a glass of wine around 7 p.m. The next morning, you start drinking coffee and having breakfast at 7 o'clock a.m. That means your overnight fast lasted a total of 12 hours. Your fast ends the second you put any food, coffee, or tea in your system. Water is the only thing that doesn't count here. I know people try to get around the whole coffee thing by saying that black coffee does not have calories, but it does have antioxidants, caffeine, and chemical compounds that have to be broken down by the body. It puts the body to work, and we want the body to be at rest. I've seen people try to say that something as small as 40 or 30 calories doesn't count because it doesn't start the metabolism, but that's all speculation, so I'm going to challenge you to adhere to the most no-nonsense form of fasting, nothing but water, so we have less variables to contend with. Now let's address a few more common concerns about fasting. Is intermittent fasting safe? Yes, fasting can be done safely and healthfully, especially if you have the help of a health professional like a registered dietitian on your team. Of course, you always need to listen to your body above all else. If you're feeling lightheaded, if you're feeling nauseous, if you feel like your blood sugar is falling low, please eat, please eat. Don't worry about breaking your fast at the cost of your health. Keeping in tune with your body's signals is the single most important thing when it comes to figuring out what kind of nutritional balance and routine is going to work best for you for the long haul. If you have a history of disordered eating, I would not recommend intermittent fasting, as it can trigger previous disordered eating thoughts and patterns. You should steer clear of fasting if you frequently experience anxiety around eating or extreme fatigue from lack of nutrition. If you have diabetes, first, check with your endocrinologist before starting a fasting regimen. Discuss your current medications and how fasting can affect your blood sugars. If you do decide that fasting makes sense for you, I recommend closely monitoring your blood sugars throughout the process and starting slow. Don't start with a 20-hour fast right out of the gate. You really want to pay attention to what's happening in your body and your blood sugars when you start fasting. And of course, if you have a specific health condition that you're dealing with and you're wondering if fasting makes sense for you, working with a registered dietitian one-on-one may be a better idea. I would not recommend fasting for anyone who is pregnant or breastfeeding, people that are underweight or undernourished, or children or adolescents that are still growing. So we talked about who shouldn't try intermittent fasting. So who should try it? People with IBS, heartburn, or other digestive issues that want to improve their symptoms. People who want to improve their sleep. People who want to lose weight or increase their lean muscle mass. People who want to improve their endurance abilities, people who want to improve their blood markers such as cholesterol and blood sugars, and people who want to decrease their risk of chronic diseases such as diabetes and cardiovascular disease. So that's a whole lot of us, right? So let's get started. Your homework today is to first download an app on your phone that will help you to track your fasts throughout this process. The app that I recommend is called Zero. There's only one button, start fasting and stop fasting, and it tracks your fasts over time. Once you get that app set up, click the circadian rhythm 13-hour fast. It gives you a few different options to pick from in the beginning. Choose that 13-hour fast to start with because it's going to help us to track as we go along. If for some reason you're totally against using an app or using your phone to do this, that's okay. You're gonna go old school and you're gonna use pen and paper, but I want you to be tracking this. Just track the time that you stopped eating and the time that you started eating the next day. So tonight, as I said, I want you to fast for 12 hours. Do that by looking at your day tomorrow first. So for example, if you usually start eating breakfast at 7 a.m., that means you need to start your fast by 7 p.m. the night before. If you're the type of person who usually doesn't eat breakfast and you go till the afternoon until eating, I still want you to start your fast by 9 p.m. So even if you could get a 12-hour fast in and eat until 1 a.m., I don't want you to do that. You have to start your fast tonight by 9 p.m. So that means no food, no coffee or tea, only water for 12 hours. make a plan now and make sure that that happens. So within this process, planning is super important, and looking at that next day and what's going on the next day is super important. So we're starting with a 12-hour fast. It's easy to know when you can start eating again when you're only doing 12 hours. If you stop at 8 p.m., you get to start again at 8 a.m. But once we increase those times, or if your days are variable, these apps will start to come in handy. So a quick review. First, think about why you want to try intermittent fasting. What are you hoping to get out of this course? Please write down those goals and share with family or friends for additional accountability. Second, we talked about starting slow. We're not doing a 20-hour fast right out of the gate, or even a 16-hour fast. We're doing 12 hours. Slow is the optimum speed for any life change. For some reason, we tend to think that slow is the enemy. I want you to let go of that quick fix idea. Let go of the idea that you have to dive in and go balls to the wall, 100% in, or you're out. Let go of that all or nothing idea, because that is not what wellness is about. You're not going to be well going 100% all of the time. Third, we're going to start a 12-hour restricted eating schedule tonight, and that means water only for that 12-hour period. You're going to track your fasts in an app or on a piece of pen and paper, or on a piece of paper with a pen. And lastly, if you have any health concerns, or if you're wondering if fasting could be a detriment to your condition, please seek us out one-on-one, because working with a registered dietitian may be a better idea for you if you have a specific condition that you're worried about. So that's all for today. Good luck on your first fast. I will see you again tomorrow.